Hi. So this video is about how can you access a service running in a VM in your host machine or in a other physical machine which is connected to your local area network. Okay. So first of all, let's run a service in our VM. So I'll run a Docker service. Okay, and let's see where it's running. So as you can see, it's a Nginx service and it's running at my port number 8000 in my virtual machine. This is my virtual machine. Okay. Okay. So let's try to curl it. So yes, it's up and running in my local host. Okay. So now this is my host machine, Windows. Okay. Over here, it's my host machine. So let's now just try to curl the same port from our host machine. See, it will fail because as we cannot ping our virtual machine from a host machine. Okay, the it's not possible in our default network configuration, which is net. So let's see the settings. Network here, it's by default it's nets, and in net we cannot ping our VM from our host, but we can do the vice versa. So let's start port forwarding. So now, if you want to access a service running in your VM from your host, you need to set up a port forwarding. Okay, so I'll set up a forwarding for port 8000. Okay, so the port forwarding is done. Now let's retry it. So now, as you can see, I am able to access the service running at my VM. But here I'm using localhost, not the IP of my VM, because the IP of my VM is not accessible from host. But think about it, that when we're doing port forwarding, the data coming from internet for this port will be coming to our IP only, our host IP only. So that's why we are using localhost IP. Now let's see some other network settings which can be used to access the service. So in this scenario, in NAT and port forwarding, we can access the service running in our VM using the IP of our host machine, colon the port number, whatever port forwarding we have chosen. Okay, but now let's say you want to access the service using the IP address of a VM. In that case, we need to select bridge adapter. Okay, now selected. So no, sorry. So first of all, let's reset the network in our VM. Okay, so now it's configured for what we say the bridge network. Curling is working fine, but let's try from our host. It's not connected because now the service is running in its VM only, and we need to enter the IP of our VM. So it's the IP of our VM. I'm not explaining the concept of bridge here. I'm just telling you how to connect. Okay, so now using the IP of our virtual machine, we can connect. So what's actually happening here? The bridge network is creating a IP for a VM such that it will look like it's present in the same LAN. Okay, so you can also execute this same command from any other physical machine connected to your LAN, and you will be getting the access to your port number. Okay, the third way we can do this is by having a local area network. Oh, sorry, the host only network. Okay, if you do the host only, in that case, you will be able to access virtual machine from host, but you won't be able to access virtual machine from any other physical device connected to your LAN. So it's only when you want to connect to your VM through your host. So let's reset the network. Okay, as you can see, the IP has been changed. It's now your host only network IP. So if you copy it and try to curl it, let's say first of all, let's curl for the previous IP. It will fail. Okay, so it's not responding. Let me just cut it. And now let's paste our new IP. See. So we have seen how to access service running in our VM from our host using three methods. One is NAT, another is host only, and another is bridge. Okay. In NAT, you can access service using your host IP, colon port number, whatever you are using in port forwarding. And in bridge adapter, you can use the IP of your VM to access the service. And in host only, you can only access the service from your host. Okay. Thank you.